on Business Success in Six with Stacie. I have Rick Pierce here from Green Lake Campground in Green Lake, Wisconsin. Rick, thanks for jumping on.
Glad to be here.
Hey, do you mind if I ask you all about Green Lake Campground and share with our clients, community, and viewers what you can offer them?
Absolutely. I'm excited about the opportunity to talk about Green Lake Campground.
And I'm excited to hear. So I'm a lifelong camper, so let's get started, okay?
All right, let's go.
All right, here we go. When people ask you what Green Lake Campground does and offers, how do you describe your business?
We are a all-inclusive campground. We try to make everything available at the daily rate. Okay, it's very much a family-oriented atmosphere here, and we take that very seriously. In fact, in the 30 years that we've been here at Green Lake Campground, I bought it in 1993. I was a rather young man, and that was a real leap of faith. Let me tell you about that one sometime. But no, it's we just we have generations of people. When I first started, we would have people with their children. Well, now their children are bringing their kids back here. And one of the things that I think is a little bit unique in the campground industry is that when everybody leaves at the end of their stay, they can rebook their site for the next year. So you
Oh,
have that continuity. Some parks, the state parks, you have to wait until January 1st to rebook. And we let our groups and individual campers, like if they're here this Memorial Day weekend and before they leave, 80% of those people will rebook for the next year. And when you do that, you carry on these traditions and people look
mm,
forward to seeing everybody, even if you're not part of that same group, because year after year, they're all right there next to you. So it's kind of a nice, festive, family oriented
yeah.
situation.
How special is that? I love it. So, okay, so you said you bought the campground in 1993.
I did, yes.
What were your plans when you bought it, and how have things evolved and changed?
Well, first of all, I wasn't a camper when I bought it. I think I camped once in high school. The reason why I bought it was of the location in Green Lake. I grew up in Fond du Lac,
Mhm.
and that's where I was working at the time. And when I was looking at leaving corporate America, so to speak, and what am I going to do and not move out of state, I had just heard through a friend that Green Lake Campground was for sale. And my only reason for coming over here was because of all the childhood memories that Green Lake had endeared to me over the years. Because as a family, we used to rent cabins and cottages and come over and take our boat and use the lake. And so there's a lot of good family memories. So that was the only reason why I came over here.
Wow.
I went through it. And like I said, it was at the time I was thinking of a career change. So I thought about it. And I brought over a friend of mine who happened to be our company controller, and I had him look at it with me and go through the numbers. And so he went through, and I said, "Well, Ron, what do you think?" He goes, "Well, Rick, I don't know. If you don't do it, maybe I will," because we were both looking at moving on and trying something else. We were at that 39, 40-year-old stage where you're a little drained with corporate politics and corporate America. I think a lot of us go through it. We wanted to have our own small business, and that's what happened. So I bought the campground with the intent of running it on a seasonal basis and doing some consulting in the off season. But it was so much. It was all encompassing. And if I wanted to take it in the direction that I wanted to, I had to devote, even though the campground was only open 6 months, I had to devote 12 months to the business.
Wow. Very cool. So how has it changed? Like, what have you changed about the campground since 1993?
All right. Well, think about the 90s like and then back into the 70s. Camping was tent camping, sitting around a campfire, pretty low key, right? Like the state parks.
Yep.
Uh, I'm sure some of your listeners have heard about glamping, where people just want to get out, they want to rent, they want more amenities, right? So I think that's the biggest change from more of a rustic setting to families. Well, they want a lot of amenities. They want to keep the kids occupied. They want access to Wi-Fi. A lot of
Sure.
them work to do, even when they're camping. There's streaming that they want to do. Um, and I think with all the um, uncertainty in the world as far as travel and going through security and going through COVID, people like staying closer to home
Mhm.
and they want to do more, but they want to stay closer to home. So, I mean, we've really had to upgrade our facility over the 30 years. We went from one pool to six pools. We
Wow.
have cable TV for all of our seasonal customers. We have sewer sites for all of our seasonal customers, Wi-Fi throughout the park, um, beach activities. We've invested in playgrounds. So it's really a place where you can come and we've seen people that go from spending a weekend camping to now they're spending their whole, like a whole week as a vacation.
Oh,
So
great.
they have a lot of availability midweek, Monday to Thursday. We see that filling up now as well because of the yearning to stay closer to home and keep things simpler for the family.
Sure, and I can imagine, like you said, if you have Wi-Fi for some of those seasonal guests, they just want to get out and spend time with their family and not have to work on the house and partially disconnect, but you can't completely disconnect, right? When you're
Right, right. I mean, they want to have that family time with their children and in a safe environment. You know, we're self-contained. We have gates. We have security. So if you don't belong here, you shouldn't. It's an effort to get in, right? I mean, so we keep track of that. And then people that come as families, neighbors, friends, there's enough for the kids to do in a secure environment where the kids can do their stuff a little bit, and then mom and dad can have adult time with their adult friends and neighbors, whatever, and
yeah,
it all works together.
that was so great. So my next question for you, Rick, is what is the biggest way you impact the community?
Oh, well, you mean the local community?
Any of the like, for example, I can think right now, you're a big way that you impact the community is just bringing families together.
Right, right.
That's huge, so you can talk about, like, how you are involved in the community and the community that you're creating.
Okay. Um, we have through activities. We'll have a barbecue contest for the campers. Just open to campers, so because
Okay.
we have the resources to handle so many. We'll have a charity event, a fundraiser, where every year we pick a local charity. Last year was a 4-H club. We've donated to the honors flight for the veterans to go
Wow.
out to. And we've donated to the Lake Association. Green Lake is just a beautiful lake. So we have activities around that. We have two pickleball courts. We have all of the people get together and they rotate in and out of there. Um, People that are here for the season, people that are here for the weekends, they all mesh together in the activities, which is nice. Um, Let me see, what else do we do? It should be second nature for me to remember all of this. Um, and then we'll have like a beach party. Um, we'll have a like a Bahama Bob come and play music, like
Oh, fun.
Caribbean island music up at the pools and make it festive and just relaxing time so people can come here. And it's amazing. You can live 10 miles away in Ripon,
Yeah.
right, in Green Lake, and now all of a sudden you're in a whole different environment with different people. It's only a 10-minute drive, but it's just like if you were 3 hours away or if you hopped on an airplane and went somewhere. Different people, different things to do. And we're blessed to be close to Green Lake, to have all these locally run supper clubs, gift shops. So people will be here most of the day, but they'll go out, they'll have their boat, they'll go out on the lake. We also have a 9-hole par 3 golf course here at the campground, which is
Wow.
for our campers. And so they're here and they do that. And there's a lot of people that never played golf that they feel more comfortable playing here rather than playing at a golf course. Because if I'm one of the guys on a golf course and I'm following an inexperienced family, it's like, all right, come on, let's get moving. Well, you don't have those types of pressures here because of how things are done.
That is huge as a golfer, and a golfer that started later in life. You do want to start at a place you feel comfortable and not everybody's hitting into you all the time or you're holding people up.
Sure.
That's just a great golf trip weekend. Go camping and golfing at the same time.
It is. I've seen people that never golfed before, and after a few seasons playing out here, they've developed into really good courses and are really good golfers. And then we have courses locally here that then they'll go out and play there after they learn the game here.
So you are not just supporting the camping community, but you're supporting the golf community as well.
Right. We like to think we have a positive impact on the local community.
Absolutely. So my next question for you is, what is the one challenge that you have faced that other business owners can learn from?
Well, you have to wear many hats. Okay. You there's certainly a public relations aspect of it. When people come to the campground and they've been driving in the car with three kids for a couple hours and mom or dad come in to register, I mean, you want to greet them with a smile. You only have one chance to make a good first impression, right?
Huge.
So our office area, our store, I think is pretty unique. Our staff, we have a fantastic staff. They come back. A lot of them come back year after year. They've been here for a long time because they enjoy the socialization and meeting the campers. And even like I talk about the fellowship that's out here with campers, but it also crosses over to the staff because, you know, we greet people that we've seen the year before and they're back and, their kids are older or now they're here with their kids and their grandkids. And
Mm,
so that's what's really nice. And then, so you have to have good public relation skills and you need to have a level of sincerity too. And that's not things are changing in the camping industry. Certainly, mid to larger campgrounds like Green Lake Campground are being acquired by these publicly traded private equity firms. They're found out that campgrounds can be a profitable venture, and they're buying out the small business owners. And we've seen that now, and it continues throughout the state of
mm,
Wisconsin. And we have no plans. This is a more of a family type. Uh, my son is here working. He's a general manager. We'll be passing that down to him and his children if they want to do that. But that's changed because we have a long term outlook, right?
yeah.
Um, in 30 years, we've done improvements every year for 30 years, and after 30 years, you really have something. That's how we ended up with 6 pools and the golf course and some of these other things. But then you can't afford to have everybody come in and fix things for you, so you have to become pretty handy. You have to have some mechanical skills, and then you have to have accounting skills. And so there's the number side, there's purchasing, there's maintenance, there's running pools, uh, dealing with issues that come up with the general public. And
Mhm.
so you have to wear many hats.
Many, many hats. Yeah, and I think about okay, if something went wrong in the restroom area or in the pool, like you can't, even if you wanted to call somebody out, like they want it done now so that they can enjoy their vacation, right?
Right. Yes. Yeah, that happens. A lot of times it happens. You think, why can't these things happen during the week? Why do they have to be your Saturday?
Sure. So my next question for you is, what does the future look like to you? And do you have an exit plan? You mentioned that your son is helping run the campground. Tell me a little bit more about that.
Well, I too, you mentioned earlier that you have 3 boys. I too, first of all, I grew up with 3 boys in my family. I have 2 brothers. And then I had 3 sons. Okay. And 2 of them are biomedical engineers out in the medical device industry, and my son Greg was a consultant with KPMG, an accounting firm, and he always wanted to work at the campground. But I said, look, you got to get out there in the real world. You got to, make your own story out there. And then after being out there for 5 years, if you want to come back, I'd love to have you come back.
Mhm.
Um, and he did, and it's been a great thing. He's been here now for 12 years. But the first couple of years, it was, father son, back and
Oh
forth.
yeah.
Hey, Greg, I'm not trying to get you to eat your spinach. I just want you to do it my way until you can prove to me that you have a better way.
Right. You can saute it with something else later.
Right. And he is like, I'm 68. Um, Time has gone by very quickly. Greg does all the daily operations now. And to have him out here handling that allows me to do what I like to do now, which is putts. I like to fix things. I like to help him. I live in Charlotte, maybe 6, 7 months out of the year, and I like to go back down there in the wintertime. I think when you get older, Wisconsin, just if you can go,
It
go.
gets longer, right? And you might like to golf down there a little bit, huh?
Yeah, I do. I do. So, so, anyways, that's about it for that.
That sounds great. Now he was in an accounting firm as well.
Yeah, KPMG.
So
Yeah,
he it's always great as a business owner to have a little bit of that background, huh? So
right, right. And then, like, when you know, you learn so much through osmosis. I had a, I had an 86-year-old guy. He worked for me up until he was 86, and he had just a drive. And I always joked that I kept him around because he was the only one that could still call me kid,
oh,
right?
funny.
Right. And he was a former engineer, plant manager, mechanical genius. And just through osmosis over the 20 years that he worked here, I learned so much from him. Right. And going through, over the years, we bought an additional 80 acres. We built another 80 site seasonal only park next door while running the one that we have at Green Lake Campground. And so working with the bank, the local bank, I become, quite the banker. And this is done over the years. I know what the bank is looking for. So when I put a project together, I can write it up as if I was, a banker. And my son enjoys the financial aspect because, we like to reach out and do different things. So
Yeah,
if when you're in the same business and you have the variety of challenges that you have running a campground, you learn a lot over the years.
totally. Keeps you young.
Right. And then, people will come in and I'll be sitting out and having a drink in my hand and they'll wait. Oh, look at Rick. Boy, wouldn't it be nice to own a campground? I wish I was. And
And you're
right.
smiling, thinking,
Yeah.
yeah, if you only knew. I love it. That's so wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing all of this about Green Lake Campground. My final question for you today is all subjects open. What inspires you most?
What inspires me most? My wife asked me that because she goes, why do you need to be up there at the campground all the time? She loves coming up here, but she's a big city girl, right?
Okay.
And she likes Charlotte. And it's like, do you have to be up there still? Why can't you come back? Um, it's like everybody needs a hobby, right? You have to be busy. You don't want to retire and just retire. You're not retiring from life. You're retiring from your current job. So I love meeting all the people. This is a big family out here. I have so many friends. Like I said, I love the putts. I've been working on pools for the last 2 weeks. That's kind of like my job, and it wears me down,
Sure.
doing that. But and then we go on to the golf course, and we go on to maintenance of equipment. So I just enjoy doing that. But then I'll get to a point where I can do what I want, and if I want to go, I'm going to Charlotte next week, Saturday and Memorial Day for a week, just to go back for a while and rest up. But I'll be back up here again because it's the energy. There's so much positive energy up here, and it keeps me young and it keeps me active, and something I can do with my son. I see my grandchildren out here. I have two little boys and a 1-year-old granddaughter.
Oh.
Uh,
You got the
it's
girl.
right. Finally, finally.
I love it. That is inspiring. And I'd like to end with it's great that you're able to actually leave probably one of the biggest weekends of your entire season of business besides 4th of July and maybe Labor Day, right? So you're doing some great stuff, right? And I'm sure Greg is helping you with that. So
He's amazing. He's amazing. And but that's like a new experiment for me now, leaving on the busy weekends. It's hard to give that up.
sure, I'm
Like
sure it
it's hard.
is.
I need to be here, right? But I really don't need to be here as long as everything's working. And it's like we're zooming. I can zoom with him and or
Yeah,
FaceTime.
isn't that
That's
great? So, Rick, if somebody wants to enjoy Green Lake Campground, what is the best way for them to make reservations or find out more information?
well. I can tell you, my son has spent a lot of time with some really great help developing our website,
Cool.
and that's a good place to start. We don't do online reservations. We'd like people to call and get the personal touch and find out what kind of camper they have, what they're looking for, so we can place them in the best possible site. So I would go to the website, and then I would give us a call and talk to one of our great staff, and they'll spend whatever time they need to try to meet what you're looking for.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much for actually taking the time to do that personal touch as well, because I know what would work for my family might not work for another family. So that's great that they have that.
Right.
Rick, thank you so much again. I wish you a wonderful travel to Charlotte and a wonderful season of camping.
Thank you so much. I've enjoyed it. I hope I haven't rambled, but it's not often I get a chance to talk about what we have going on here.
No, and
So
I appreciate it, and I can't wait to bring my boys as well. Sounds so great.
great. Well, make sure you look me up, and
Well,
we'd
I promise I
love
will.
you. All right.
Thank you. And I'll make sure it's not over Memorial Day weekend because you're probably booked anyways.
Oh yeah, we have it's busy, but we'll make room for you. So give us a call.
I definitely will. Thank you so
All right.
much, Rick.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.